As a socioeconomic model, markets have only existed for around 12,000 years. To put this into perspective, while this might seem like a very long time, it's actually only a fraction of all human history. For the large remainder of our existence, humans have lived in tight-knit, egalitarian societies. Many of these primitive communities used a very different economic model to the one we use today. Instead of exchanging goods for currency or other goods, they used a system of reciprocal gift exchange. Members would provide gifts or favours, often in exchange for friendship, social standing, and of course, others reciprocating by offering gifts and favours back to them. When you compare this type of system to a modern market economy, you begin to realise just how clinical markets are. With that said, while I don't advocate the return to a Paleolithic tribal state, we can definitely look at some of these societies for inspiration, and a large part of this could be looking at how to bring gift exchange into the modern world. Hi there, I'm Adam. Welcome back to my Fundamentals of Resource-Based Economies series. In previous installments, we've talked about what a resource-based economy is, about how it might function, and we've also looked at what technologies we can use to make it happen. The focus of the next couple of episodes is going to be on the socioeconomic interactions between people in a resource-based economy, and also people's productive behaviour and the flow of ideas. The two main concepts we're going to go over today are gift economics and the collaborative commons. We're going to discuss what these are, how they differ from the way things are done today, their advantages over the current model, as well as their significance in a resource-based economy. We're going to be looking at incentives in a resource-based economy, as well as how organisations might be structured. Without further ado, let's begin. Gift economics is a socio-economic model characterised by the reciprocal exchange of gifts and favours. Unlike markets, there is no trade at the point of exchange. Instead, through the act of gifting, people build socio-economic ties with other groups or individuals, who will then return the favour when they feel it's appropriate. Reciprocation for gifts can take many forms, that are not always in the form of physical gifts. While that can be a form of reciprocal gift exchange, reciprocity can also take the forms of things like favours or even friendship. Say I am a technician who offers to fix people's computers. Here, I am gifting to people by offering the favour of repairing people's computer systems. While I might not be rewarded for this initially, I have built connections with the people I've done favours for, and this increases the propensity of them gifting back to me. So for example, if I was to tutor someone and teach them how to code, after a few lessons, they might decide to do something like offer me lunch. Similarly, if someone opened a local automated pizza parlour and I became a regular there, I might feel inclined to provide regular maintenance for their automatons. Yet another example might be where someone helps me complete a large project, and in return, I invite them over to have a few beers and watch a movie. Of course, many people would likely engage in bigger favours than the ones I've mentioned, and the time between initial gift and reciprocation will vary depending on the circumstances, such as the scale of the economic activity and how close relations are between people. But really, the core purpose of gift economics is to have a form of economic interaction that encourages altruism over greed and hoarding in advancing one's self-interest. While markets are a system where people succeed by taking more than they give, in a gift-based system, the more you give, the more you will eventually receive in return. That's what gift economies are. Systems of reciprocal exchange between individuals and groups. But what drives all this? What is the primary incentive for people to be productive in a resource-based economy? The answer is a rather abstract concept called social capital. Social capital is your social standing within a resource-based economy. In some ways, it's kind of like reputation or karma. Unlike money, or what we would call economic capital today, social capital is not quantitative. You can't trade or buy things with it, and you can't extract it from someone else's labour. What social capital is an abstract, qualitative measure of how you are perceived by individuals and society as a whole. Social capital is the primary incentive in a gift economy. If you do a lot of good things and help a lot of people, then chances are you will have good social capital. And while you won't be penalised for sitting around doing nothing all day, chances are you'd be missing out on the benefits of improving your social capital, such as having better relations with others and an increased likelihood of receiving gifts and favours. In one of my previous episodes, I glossed over what incentives one might have for maintaining automated production facilities. It may very well be the case that these facilities produce goods for a large amount of people. If an individual or group spent time and effort to maintain these automation solutions, they would stand to gain a significant boost to their social capital because they are keeping systems running that affect a large part of society. And again, the better their social capital, the more likely and frequently they will be reciprocated for their deeds. Bigger as well as more frequent gifts and favours to groups and individuals would lead to significant positive impacts on one's social capital, which is likely to increase the frequency of people offering gifts and favours to you. So far in this episode, I've talked about gift economics largely from an individual perspective. But what happens when we scale this up? The collaborative commons is essentially gift economics scaled up to the organisational level. Instead of having profit-making businesses, like today, we would likely have an economy of commons cooperatives. These are organisations that either form to conduct activities that boost their social capital or to pursue a specific common interest of its members. They are horizontally organised and will only have hierarchy when it is required, such as when there is a need for expertise, and business decisions are made by the organisation's members. Because in a resource-based economy there is no money, there is little cost of taking someone on in a commons cooperative. This means that as a whole, someone can join and resign from a commons cooperative far easier than a modern capitalist business. No more scary interviews. Organisations might still conduct interviews in order to get to know who you are, but these are likely to be less formal and pressurised. It's important to remember that this wouldn't be like applying for a job. More so, it would be like wanting to join a club or hobby society. So an interview with a commons cooperative would be a lot less about whether you meet their requirements and more about whether you have a genuine interest in doing what they do. Unlike market systems, a collaborative commons based on gift economics is not competitive, and commons cooperatives would rarely compete with each other. No, a collaborative commons is a cooperative way of doing things. As the name suggests, commons cooperatives will either collaborate with each other to achieve a common goal, or if they prefer to go it alone, will likely remain ambivalent about other organisations. Since social capital is an abstract concept, unlike money, there is no scarcity of it. You can't run out of it. Therefore, there is little need for commons cooperatives to compete with each other for social capital. All commons cooperatives have the potential to be equally revered by everyone, and this goes for individuals as well. So a commons cooperative won't succeed based on how well it can dominate an economy, but instead by how useful or helpful it is to society as a whole. This means that if people like investors and speculators existed in a resource-based economy, chances are they wouldn't do very well, as they'd provide little benefit to the vast majority of people. However, people like scientists, engineers, chefs, carers, and many other professions would be much more highly valued, and so people in those lines of work will likely have good social capital. Allow me to present an example of how a commons cooperative might operate. Say me and some of my friends decide to open a video game studio. We all like gaming and have always had an interest in developing video games. We also know that if we produce a good game that people love to play, we will gain social capital from that. So, we begin developing our game. Fast forward 3 months in, and it's time to choose a design for the main character in our game. Because we have no economic barriers restricting us, we can go wild with our creativity. We can use the most detailed character models and textures possible. Since the enterprise is horizontally organised, each member of the team puts forward their idea for how they think this character should look. They each create their own design before having a vote on what design is best. Fast forward a year or so, and the game is released. It gets critical acclaim and is enjoyed by many fans. Making this game has benefited the developer's social capital. A young member of the game's fan base is interested in the company and wants to join so they can take part in future projects. The company invites them to have a talk in order to get themselves acquainted and to find out whether joining the cooperative would be of genuine interest to them. Now, it happens to be the case that this new individual wants to help code future games. The only problem is that they have little programming experience. In a monetary capitalist business, this would be a deal breaker, as the apprentice wouldn't provide any profit for the business. However, in a collaborative commons cooperative, there is nothing to lose. It seems like they have a clear passion for game development, and all they need is a little training, so the studio decides to take them on. They still produce quality games because they took the time to develop the newcomers' skills so that they become just as productive as other team members. As a game studio, they continue to do what they love doing and continue to gain recognition as creative and innovative developers. This enterprise, like most commons cooperatives, is horizontal and democratic and is incentivized by the pursuit of social capital, which is, in its own way, a true invisible hand. A criticism I have of market systems is that they are fundamentally asocial, that is, economic and social interactions are largely severed from each other. This creates a rather cold and clinical system that doesn't have much regard for our social needs. Gift economics, by contrast, is pro-social. In a gift economy, economic life converges with social life to create what is very much an economy of friendship. If me and you continuously engage in gift exchange and mutual aid, we will gradually develop a stronger social connection. So by engaging in gift economics, you're not just exchanging physical goods and favours, but you are also cultivating social goods. And in this way, a gift economy can be used to bring people closer together and build social interaction and relations. And when we take into account the fact that this would all be driven by social capital, gift economics could effectively be used as a self-regulating mechanism for social cohesion. The last thing I wanted to talk about in this video is what gift economics means for ecological sustainability. In our current monetary market system, individuals and businesses are incentivized to cut costs as much as possible, and this can often mean cutting corners when it comes to environmental issues. This is evident from global, governmental, and corporate inaction on things like the climate crisis. In a society based on gift economics and social capital, people and institutions would be greater incentivized to act in a way that is sustainable and causes minimal ecological damage, as doing so would be considered a gift to society and to humanity. If people do things that massively improve the well-being of other people or the planet they live on, then that will be a great boon to their social capital. And that's what makes gift economics a great incentive for tackling issues we face with preserving our ecology. To conclude, today we have covered gift economics and how it is different from market economics, the collaborative commons and how organisations might be structured. We've taken a look at the social side of a gift economy and have also touched upon its ecological benefits. Next time, we're going to delve into what open source means for resource-based economies and how we can create systems for a free flow of ideas. But for now though, this is all from me. If you like this video, want to see more content, and want to learn more about resource-based economies, then subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Sharing these videos helps the channel grow, and ideas like FoRBEs gain exposure. Anyway, I've been Adam, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.